Hey everybody, Top Shelf TTMs here with a 2-package mail day for the 31st of March 2012. Definitely my best spring training success yet. I'm actually quite surprised this one came back. But before I begin, I'd actually like to just talk about a situation that I've been personally watching for a while. Now some of you are going to think that this is basically in response to things that have been going on lately, but it's really not. It's a lot of people that's involved. It extends to YouTube, and even beyond that, I actually see it more on the Facebook forum for autographs than anything else. And really, it's just the arguing and the bickering between collectors. It's just ridiculous. It seems that some, especially on the YouTube Facebook forum, would rather spend time arguing with each other about asinine things than focus on this hobby. And I think that's where everybody's getting sidetracked. They're forgetting this is a hobby. That's it, a period. It's a hobby. In the whole scheme of things, it means absolutely nothing. Like was seen recently, a natural disaster could occur, or there could be a war, an act of terrorism. Anything could hit, and your entire collection could be lost immediately. You know, you'd probably be upset if you lost everything, but it really would mean nothing. I mean, you'd still be alive, and there'd be a lot more important things. And the reason is it's just a hobby, like I said. And I think the problem that we're seeing is a lot of people in the hobby have decided to make it into a business. And when you decide to make something into a business, really the entire game changes. You're going to have competition, period. So if you turn your hobby into a business, whether you're selling or buying somebody's TTMs or autographs or information about them, don't complain if somebody else is doing something similar. You don't have a monopoly or even a right to on that product or information. And the other thing that is insane is people get all upset with, oh man, this person's selling their TTMs, or this person's selling this autograph, or how did they get this, or this person's selling information they shouldn't. Who cares? What people do with their stuff is their business, and that's the end of it. And what I've seen on the Facebook forum a lot, and recently on YouTube, is a lot of fighting over private addresses. And personally, to me, I've expressed this idea to different people. The idea of a private address is just foreign. I mean, how can an address be private? Somebody researches an address and they find it. That's basically the bottom line. Anybody could find it if they want to take the time to find it. So, oh, excuse me here. My throat's killing me here. So I don't really understand, how people get upset with private addresses. Some people claim that, oh, there's a private address and too many people write to it, and that creates, all these problems. But, basically all you had was an address that was never carefully researched. Then someone does, after they find out that an address works, they pass the address along, and now a ton of people are writing to that person, and that person may stop responding. The problem has absolutely nothing to do with the address. It's just that the person that found it chose not to keep the information to themselves, but rather either gave it away or sold it to other people on a list. And then others buy it and write to this person, and a lot of them do it just because they want a free autograph. They didn't even collect the person, but they just decide to write to them. So, my thoughts is if somebody wants a celebrity to keep responding via an address, and you find the address, then don't share it. If you want to turn it into a business and sell it, that's fine. That's your decision. I have no problem with that either. But, don't complain if a lot of people start writing to them. And then if you want to buy a list, more power to you. I buy lists for baseball stuff all the time. I'm not going to research everything myself, but you can't get upset when it starts appearing elsewhere and celebrities start signing at that location because they're getting bombarded with mail. You can't have your cake and eat it too. The idea that you should be able to put it on your list and only your list, or you should be able to purchase an address and it should only be for you, is insane. The only person that owns that address is the person that lives there, period. I started doing this over 20 years ago. I've gotten lists from Harvey Mieselman and also Jack Smalling. I can't imagine that they had this fight. I mean, they both basically make the same lists, and they sell the same information, and they've researched more addresses than anybody here could even imagine looking up. And, conversely with that, I can't imagine that anybody that's bought that list has gotten upset with someone else who did, being like, oh, I have claim to that because I want that information. Well, you know, it's available to anybody. You know, and the other thing I think people forget is just by being on YouTube or Facebook and posting a success, the research into that address is going to skyrocket. I saw this myself. You know, a couple months ago I got Randy Johnson back for the first time in 20 years. You know, and I didn't give that address out to anybody, but within a few weeks I saw that others were getting him from, you know, a so-called private address. You know, they saw the video, they saw he signed, they did the research, they wrote to him, and now his name's appearing on lists. So, you know, and even though he RTS's everything, you know, you have to know that Sandy Koufak's mailbox blew up in the last month than it ever did previously after people saw one success on YouTube. You know, it's all on YouTube, it's all over Facebook, so people are going to write to him. You know, and it's kind of sad because, like, with the Steve Garvey jersey I got, I almost didn't even make a video of that because I was afraid of what people were going to do and just bombard him with a request. I mean, that was a really nice thing he did, and I appreciate it greatly. I sent him a thank you card because of it. You know, but just having that video up is enough for some certain people to start it and be like, oh man, I want a great item just because somebody else did. You know? And for those who buy these things, or see a success on YouTube, and then write to everyone, don't complain about things when they fail. If you buy a list or saw a video, and you don't collect a certain person on it, don't write to them. Don't ask them for an autograph just to have one. There's no point. If you collect that person, or collect items associated with what they do, then great. But if not, don't write to them just because you can. So, anyway, not to rant, I went on longer than I thought, and again, I'm not directing this at anybody. It's basically been something I've been watching, like, non-stop for the last couple months, and it's been driving me nuts wondering why. You know, don't bicker over this. It's just a hobby. It's for fun, and that's all it's for. You know, these arguments have been going on non-stop, and, you know, people are complaining. It's funny, I hear people complain a lot that the internet is ruining this hobby. Well, don't add to it, you know? I mean, yes, if you post stuff, a lot of people are going to take advantage of that, but it's going to help others. So, you know, do what you can to help the community and stuff, and just go from there. So, anyway, that's just my few thoughts on it. Sorry to go on so long, but anyway, let's get to the TTMs. I know I told you there were some good ones, or really good ones, so we'll get to that in a second. But first off, from Atlanta, Georgia, signing 3 of 3 in 17 days. Mark Lemke signed the 90 upper deck, the 91 upper deck, and the 91 Fleer. And I'm actually glad I wrote to him again. I wrote to him a few months ago, and I only sent him one card, and he sent me back the card signed, but he signed it in a ballpoint pen. It looked horrible, so this looks a lot better. And now, a great success. Uncanceled stamp, signing 1 of 3 in 37 days, spring training success. Boom. Chase Utley. I just hope it's real. It looks like his signature. I can't imagine he's having somebody else sign for him, but you never know. He only sent back the one card. He didn't send back the other 2, but just getting him was pretty good. And I noticed last year that the Phillies were decent at signing during spring training. They're not good during the season. They send you a form letter, as do the Rangers. But I figured I'd try them in spring training, and it worked. And I wrote to some others too, and hopefully I get responses back from some of their other big names. Cliff Lee and Halliday I've gotten before. Ryan Howard. I just wrote to a few of them, so we'll see if it turns into anything. But anyway, 4 more successes there. Really happy with that. And, you know, please don't leave hate comments based on what I'm saying. Again, what I said, not addressed at anybody. It's just for everybody in general. You know, enjoy the hobby, but realize that's what it is. And, you know, don't complain about stuff, especially if you're contributing. And, you know, I'm contributing, so that's why I don't complain. I make videos. I give out addresses if people ask me for them, you know? So, if something doesn't work all of a sudden, you know, then yeah. Do I take some blame for it? Sure. But, you know, I don't point fingers at others for doing the same thing. So, anyway, just my thoughts on it. And, we'll talk with you guys hopefully Monday with a nice, another nice mail day. See ya.